Okay, today we're going to talk about how to create a test. We'll start with the express test. So once you've logged into the CIITS website, you're going to go to the assessment ribbon and you're going to click on create in the middle column. You will come to an option where it says, do you want to create an express test or a test manually? You're going to do the express test. The difference between the express test and the manual test is that the express test has a question bank, so you won't be actually making up any questions. So let's say you're teaching analogies, then you would come in here and it would give the analogies. You wouldn't have to have them on your own. So let's give this one a name. I'm just going to say testing since we're just trying this one out. I'm going to pick a subject. Let's do math. We'll do counting by tens instead of testing. How's that? Skip counting by tens. And we'll say this is a second grade lesson. You can change this. This could be second through fifth so that more people could use it. The next one on test category, you have to be very careful with this one. You never want to leave it on the school interim assessment, ever. That always has to be changed. So let me explain briefly the other choices. Common classroom assessment means this is an assessment that other people in my grade level would want to use. So if all of you work together and you all give common assessments, which I think at this point we should, all should be given the same assessments per grade level. So you would do common classroom assessment. There's another step to this when you're finished with it, but this allows it to be shared with other folks. My classroom just means this is an assessment just for me, just for my class, just to see how my kids are doing. I do not want to take a grade on it. This is just a formative assessment for me only. Send the test to the grade book means this is a formative, or it could be a formative assessment that you want to grade on, or it could be a summative assessment that just your class is doing. You don't want to share it with anyone else. So that would actually send those scores to Infinite Campus. That usually happens overnight. You would give the test one day, by the next morning they're in Infinite Campus. So for now I'm going to choose Common Classroom Assessment because I'm going to pretend like I'm a second grade teacher and all the second grade teachers are going to take this test. Not the teachers, the students. You're going to leave the score type on total score. And then your preferred standards documents should always be the Kentucky Core Academic Standards, either for math or language arts, unless you're doing science, social studies, technology, something like that. See, mine are down in this area. So we're going to go here to the Kentucky Core Academic Standards 2010 for math. You never want to do answer key only unless you just want to print a bubble sheet. You're going to give them the test on paper, and then you're going to give them a bubble sheet and they're going to bubble it in. When you do that option, which is fine, you then have to come back into the CIITS program, take those bubble sheets, and for each child you've given that test to, you've got to put their answers manually in the CIITS program in order for CIITS to send that to your grade book or even to log that they took it. That is a lot of work on your part, and I wouldn't suggest using that one, so I'm going to leave that at no. You can use the item settings, leave that alone. Multiple choice, leave that alone. I'm going to go down here to the bottom and click Select Standards. And then on this one, at the beginning, I should already have that one chosen because it's what I chose on the page before. It's math, it's second grade, and then I can enter the text of the standard if I know what it is, or I can go down here and find it. So skip counting should be in the number and operations in base 10. So I can click that box and just do a general one, which would not be very good actually. Or I can click the plus sign to expand that. And then after I've gotten these two choices, I'm going to choose this one. And then I can see right here that 2.MBT.2 is count within 1,000. Skip count by 5s, 10s, and 100s. So I could click there. So now I have my standard. So I'm going to add to the test map. At this point, I see that there are 11 available test items for this particular question. So I can choose as many of those as I want. So let's say I want to give them 5. I just want to give a really quick test. So I'm going to click Build Express Test. It does take it a minute. It's thinking, finding all those wonderful questions. Okay, so then it gives me a test that has 5 questions. Um, okay, so the first question says, let's see if I can find it. I can view that question, the passage. Okay, so I've gathered from this that that is not a question I want on my test. So under actions, I can remove it from the test. It says all of these will be deleted. I'm going to say, okay, that's what I want. And again, here's another one. I think I'm just going to get rid of that one as well. And then I have a question that says, Cindy collects spoons from around the world. She has 5 hanging on a shelf. How many spoons will she have? And then it's not showing the whole picture. Of course, it's farther on out there. But here I'm left with 3 questions that I want. You can play around with this if you want to. This is a prime example of why I don't like to do the express test, because the questions don't always fit what I want. I really wanted to give a test showing that they could skip count by 10. And then when I look at this one, it includes, this one is by 5, and this one also has skip counting with nickels, which would be 5. So I didn't actually get any test questions that was what I wanted. So this is exactly why that I wouldn't use this. So on the left hand side, you can copy the test, you can delete the test, you can download the test to a PDF, download it to Word, download the answer key if you wanted to give it to the kids with a bubble sheet, and or you can preview the online test to see what it would look like when the kids are taking it. Now, if this were a test that I wanted my second grade teachers, all of us wanted to do the test together, this is where, once I'm finished creating the common assessment, I would then right here click copy test. And then when I do that, it's going to bring up that. Let's see if I can do that without making a mess of this. Okay, it brings up that same thing that we did at the beginning, that the introductory part where it says, what do you want this to be? And it'll say copy out beside of it. And then right here where it says school interim assessment, you would then change it to send test to the grade book. Then that makes it a test that just your class can take, because you've already made the common classroom assessment one that all the other teachers would see. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, you can let me know. But that's how that works. Now, to go back and find my test, I would just go to Find a Test under the Assessment Admin tab. And then I have a list here of all the tests that have been made, either by me that I sent to the grade book that was just for my class, or common classroom assessments. You'll see here that every test that's been made within this building that was a classroom common assessment, I can see. And this tells me here what grade level it is. So I have a first grade punctuation test. This one, of course, nobody could have taken because it was made as a school interim assessment, which you cannot do. That has to be changed or it won't work. So you do have access to everything that was done in your building, not just at your grade level.